Today we're going to look at how to sketch the inverse of the parabola. The easiest way to sketch the inverse of the parabola is from the original function. So let's look at a parabola in the form f of x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. We're going to sketch f of x is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 15, which you did sketch a few days ago. We end up with a parabola that has x-intercepts at x equals 3 and x equals 5, a y-intercept at y equals 15, and a turning point with coordinates 4 and -1. Now we're going to use these coordinates to sketch the inverse of the parabola. But what is inverse? Inverse just means opposite. So to sketch the inverse of the parabola, all we need to do is swap the x and the y values. So when we had x-intercepts at 3 and 5, we now have y-intercepts at 3 and 5. A y-intercept of 15 becomes an x-intercept of 15, and a turning point with coordinates 4 and -1. If we swap them round, we end up with a coordinate -1 and 4. And if we plot these 4 points on the graph, we end up with what looks like a parabola, but on its side. What we have in fact sketched is a perfect reflection over the line y equals x. So by swapping x and y, we're actually sketching an inverse function, which is a reflection over the line y equals x. Pause the video now so that you can make some notes. In the first example, we sketched the graph from the equation ax squared plus bx plus c. Now let's have a look at ax minus p squared plus q. So we're going to sketch the graph of f of x is equal to minus x minus 2 squared plus 1, which is also a parabola you have sketched before. We end up with a parabola that has x-intercepts at 1 and 3, a y-intercept at -3, and a turning point at 2 and 1. And the best way to sketch the inverse is to use the coordinates from the original function and just swap them around. So instead of x-intercepts at 1 and 3, we now have y-intercepts at 1 and 3. Instead of a y-intercept at -3, we have an x-intercept at -3, and the turning point 2, 1 will just swap around and we end up with a coordinate 1 and 2. And if we plot these 4 points on the graph, we get a parabola again on its side, but it's just a perfect reflection over the line y is equal to x. So we can ask you to either sketch the inverse of f of x, we can ask you to sketch a reflection of f of x in the line y equals x, or we can use the notation, and the notation is f minus 1 of x. So we can ask you to sketch f minus 1 of x. It's time now to pause the video, make some notes, and try some on your own. Thanks for watching Max Maths. If you liked what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe.